Oh, good day, good day. Holy moly.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Back.
Holy Christ. Well, I tell you, it is nice to see your face.
You too, bro. A little bit of a different background for the both of us.
It is a different background for the both of us. It has been a busy year without a doubt. Now, it hasn't been a year. Let's be very clear. So,
It's felt like a year.
well, because it was in fact 11 months ago. Well, 11 and a bit months ago. So it was
Pretty
May
close
26th. May 26th, 2024 was our last episode of Come Walk With Us.
That's
And
wild.
and and so as the show goes on tonight, we will chat more about that, but about how that came to be. But the to start with, it is just absolutely fantastic to see your face. And we'll chat about this too, but we got to spend time together in December, which was amazing. And we had a meeting a couple weeks ago, and I think we've got another one coming up soon, I think, about a cool project that we'll talk about down the road. But we've not been disconnected, but we certainly haven't been able to see each other a lot necessarily. So that has been a great loss in my life, without a doubt. We've talked lots, right, about this show and how it's really been good for us. Like, no doubt it's helpful for others, but it's hey, Tina T.
Tina. Hello, Tina.
So obviously it's helpful for others, and that's the goal. But but at the same time, we are. It is lovely to be here. My phone is just blowing up here. Just check. I think it's because it is streaming on both Facebook and YouTube tonight. We finally, if you recall, the last year. Yeah. Oh, look at this.
Hello.
Look at that. Goodness gracious. What a delightful treat to have Shannon with us.
Oh, Shannon's, I think, niece there was playing lacrosse. I got to see them play lacrosse there down in, I'm pretty sure it was her niece playing lacrosse.
Was that your niece, Shannon? Was that your niece or maybe her granddaughter?
Yeah, that's what.
It might have been her granddaughter. So either way, part of this, when we started this in 2020, it was so good for me, just my own well-being, and it was good for the betterment of the world, I think, but it was really just good for me, and I have desperately missed you. Like,
yeah, well, it started out as us, like, we were just like in the pandemic, just doing weekly check-ins, making sure we were holding each other accountable and stuff.
Yeah.
And we decided to turn it into this, and then and even like you texted me before this earlier, and I was like, oh yeah, I can't wait to get back to it. There's been so much going on. A lot of stuff that we won't talk about yet, but like there's just been so much going on, and it was always nice to have this routine to come back to. This all this like positivity, it's good community and support and everything. Exactly. I think there's a little bit of audio issues coming from my end, just because I'm on my laptop here at my parents. And so I usually have headphones on and stuff, so the audio's coming out different ways, but I think it's
well, to our friends watching there, how is it looking? Shannon does confirm it was her granddaughter playing lacrosse, which is just awesome.
Nice, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Rod, just happy to see you too.
Yeah, what a wonderful treat. They found us there. So yeah, it is fantastic. It is, interestingly enough, tonight's episode does come from two new spaces, and Tracy says it sounds great so far, so that's perfect. Tracy. So this background, although it looks very similar to the last background, the longtime home of Three Things Consulting now looks like this as of last week.
Crazy.
You'll note that there is
Wow.
no house there any longer. And so it is, so the house has been taken down.
The house of dysfunction.
The House of Dysfunction, the home of Three Things Consulting. That's what remains. One of the light posts is still there, 1274. So many wonderful memories, so many wonderful activities and events and moments that have mattered for us at Three Things, but also me and my family. Like it is, so we moved last year. So we moved in June. And I think, in fact, when we originally stopped in May, it was because we were moving the next week or the week after. And then we went from there and did the tour in Nova Scotia, PEI, New Brunswick, and Newfoundland and Labrador together, you and I and Grandma Kate and Andrew, which was an outstanding adventure. Like, it was such a great adventure. It was absolutely delightful. And then things just sort of went a little bit south. And yeah, I see we've got our good friend Lana has joined us there.
Hello.
And she's missed date night. And yeah, so it's wonderful to be here. It is absolutely wonderful to be here. I was anxious today a little bit, I think, because again, this was a routine we had. Those first few years, we only missed and the first 2 years of Come Walk With Us, we only missed, I think, about in the first 2 years, we missed 10 weeks in total out of 104 weeks.
Not bad.
So it was pretty consistent. And then when the pandemic sort of was sort of over-ish, as over as it was going to be, and we began to, hi, Linda. We say hi to Linda too. Great that you're there watching as well tonight.
Linda.
So one of the realities was that we realized that a lot of people do things on Saturday nights. So I think it was last year at the beginning of the year, we moved it from Saturdays to Sundays, which we had taken a break over the holidays, and we did that, and that was all right. And but the reality is that life happens, and I think it started with that tour. I thought for some reason we were going to do an episode while we were doing the tour, but we couldn't or didn't.
Yeah, we planned to, but it just we couldn't make it work.
Yeah, couldn't make it work, and but we did have a absolutely fantastic and brilliant night at your house, though, without a doubt.
That was nice. You got to come down and see everyone.
Oh, it was absolutely a highlight of my year last year. We Grandma Kate, Shannon came out for that as well. Andrew and myself, we got to spend time with Brennan and his family, who are also good friends of mine as well. And it was just a wonderful night. That whole adventure was fantastic. And this is in relation, folks, to the project that Brennan and I worked on. We're listening, and it was a process where we listened to youth voices in Atlantic Canada. And I just got an email from one of the young people yesterday asking if I could be a reference, as he is finished his first year of university.
That's sick.
And the adult ally with this young lad, she reached out 2 or 3 days ago to say, can you send me a digital copy of the report the young people wrote? Because mine is so written on now.
Oh, that's awesome.
There's so many notes and things. So people are using that report in Atlantic Canada to move forward these voices of young people, which is just absolutely fantastic. It is so wonderful. It is. So it's always
cool to see that, like like this kind of work and these kind of projects. Like it's never instant gratification. It's always you see little chunks here and there down the road after of just like these little reflections of all the work you've done. And it's so cool to see that.
Yeah, exactly. So either way, it is fantastic to be here tonight. We are so this is my new office, and the nice thing about this new office here, Simon has his own office with a door,
Nice.
and, and his own heater, so he can stay nice and warm. So it's good to see. And it was an adjustment, though. It was a real adjustment. And one of the realities is that also took place last year around that same time as the tour. A year ago, a couple weeks ago, I started having some health things happen, and I wasn't really sure what it was. Well, that's actually a bold-faced lie. I Googled and immediately knew what it was. But I didn't put it out in the universe because it was just Dr. Google, right? So I presumed that Dr. Google was probably right on. But as the summer went on, I think actually right after the tour is when I was diagnosed with cancer. Because I don't think on the tour I didn't share anything. Yeah, so it was right after the tour. I officially was diagnosed with cancer last year, which, here's a fun fact, it sucks. I wouldn't have known the significance of how sucky it would be, but it certainly did suck, and it made for an overwhelming year at times, right? And one of the things about it was that this show, I didn't share it with a lot of people. Like, people in my immediate circle who I see and I'm with, they certainly knew, but outside of that external circle, I didn't share a lot about it. And the difficulty around that was I knew well enough that if I sat here on Saturday nights, I would like to think I'm relatively authentic and open, and I wouldn't have been able to share or fake it without acknowledging that, right? And but after a couple of surgeries last year, I had 2 surgeries, and then got news that for the most part everything is good now. So I've got a series of treatments. I did a series of treatments in January, which were really kind of crappy. Like, they were way more disruptive to my life than I ever even envisioned they would be, right? And I don't know if I was naive. I don't even know if that's true, because I read a lot about them. I'm in a Reddit group, like a support group of other people with this kind of cancer or these kinds of cancers, and so I really did go into it thinking it wasn't going to be a big deal, and that 7 weeks was a big deal. It was incredibly difficult to work. It was difficult to do a lot of things. And I have those treatments now, and it's a maintenance program. As long as I remain cancer-free, I'll continue to do these for the next 4 years. And so my next one coming up, I think, is going to be in June-ish, maybe. And it's just kind of just an annoyance, right? It's not painful per se, but it's not comfortable. It's now the benefit is that in this next series, the last one was 6 weeks, which was about 8 weeks of side effects. This one will be 3 weeks, so I'll presume 5 weeks of side effects, which is, I guess, better.
Better, yeah. That's better than 8.
Yeah, 5 is better than 8.
Yeah.
But that said, it really made the idea of doing this show difficult for me, and not being able to, or not wanting to share until I knew more and had something meaningful to share, right? But I certainly was surrounded by a tremendous amount of love throughout that entire process. It was absolutely, we talk about the 3 things, right? You matter, you're important, you belong. And this journey has anchored those things are true in my life, right? That I certainly matter in this world, that I'm important to people, to people in my circle, and that I belong in this space. And the love and support and care that I received was just beautiful. And one of the realities is that it also was recognizing that I wasn't special getting it, right? Like, especially in 2024, 2025, like, it is more common than ever before. And so while I was experiencing it, several other very dear friends of mine in my circle have also been experiencing it, and not all with the same outcomes and experience that I had. And so, even for that, I'm grateful. Like, it wasn't great, but it certainly wasn't this right over here, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful that now, like right in this moment, my energy is back, my capacity is back, my like, and my resolution this year was don't die in 2025. So, so I'm going to do what the doctors tell me. Yeah, and I'm very grateful. So there's obviously a lot of whack of people I'm grateful towards. One of them, though, is Brody, who's been on this show, right? Who has his fitness company, personal fitness program, and he has been so good around making sure that I could still be active, but in a non-harmful way, in a real gentle way. His compassion and care for my physical well-being has been, and he's only young, right? He's 25, so it's like it is just so. He is just. I'm just so grateful. I think. Are we going to see Abed?
Yeah, no, I'll just let you know.
Oh, I thought we'd have an Abed viewing. And sending lots of love to you as well, Patsy. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you're here tonight.
Oh, hello, Gaju. Marlon.
Yeah. So either way, the idea of having cancer is crummy, but the beneficial benefit of it is is you're reminded that you're not alone in this world, right? But I'll tell you, it took me a couple weeks to acknowledge that it sucked. Like the surgeries were fine, to be truthful. The surgeries were like in and out, and I took a lot of care of myself before going into them. Interestingly, before both surgeries, I went on cruises in the week leading up to it intentionally. So, well, the first one was because I had it planned already, and at first that it didn't look like I'd be able to do it, so I canceled it. And then I was able to do it, so I was able to rebook it. And away I went to the Caribbean last summer.
You were there for a little while, weren't you?
No, the Caribbean one was short. That was like 8 days.
Okay.
It was a couple of days in Miami, or was I in Miami? Yeah, in Miami, and then the cruise itself, and it was fantastic. It was on the Icon of the Seas, the newest Royal Caribbean ship, that mega ship, and it was mega, and it was amazing. But then I did the other one. I did this like lifetime like bucket list trip to Australia before the last surgery, and here actually, let's just sort of see here. This is like. So
cool to see you doing that, man. That's so crazy. Your Snapchats are nuts.
Yeah, it was a trip of a lifetime, and a trip that I will forever remember, and like the privilege to be able to do that, right? Like just and again, it worked out really wonderfully. Like everything worked to make it work. And that trip to Australia was anchored in turning 50, which was amazing and mind blowing. Thank you. Like, because I spent, Brennan, when I was in my 20s, when I turned 20, I remember being stunned because I never assumed I would turn 20 years old. Like the behaviors and actions and my life, anchored in also like the mental illness, like depression and not knowing what that was, right? Like again, 30 years ago, 32 years ago, that wasn't a thing that people were conscientious of. And the reality is that I never thought I would turn 20. And then I did. And then I never thought I would turn 30. When I turned 30, I couldn't even understand how I survived that decade. And I was still using and still drinking. And it was when I got sober and clean and sober that when I turned 40, I was like, that makes sense. I never thought I'd be 40, but it makes sense that I am. And when I turned 50, I was like it was just absolute brilliance, right? It was this celebration because I knew that my odds were great of hitting it, right? And
what was that like, man? Like just being able to reflect, like being in Australia and like being able to reflect, like, oh, I'm turning 50, and I remember, like you just said, you walked us through like that. I remember turning 40. I remember turning 30. Like, how emotional was that? if you don't mind me asking?
Well, it was gratitude. I think it was just simple gratitude. And before I went away to Australia, I had my friends down at Morrison's, who own Morrison's here in Kingston. It's a wonderful breakfast spot. I asked them about a month earlier, because they close at like 2 o'clock or something, and they make the best breakfast. It's greasy bread. And so I asked them if they would be open to having like a birthday party for me there and do like breakfast for dinner and open up on the Sunday night. And so they agreed, and we determined there'd be about 50 people. And I think it was 102 people came, and the place was packed. And it was, so how did I feel? It was so emotional, because the reason that I was there was all those people were there, right? Through different parts of my journey.
That's
And like Chris' birthday parties, and there was the no gifts thing, but a lot of people brought cards. So I took all the cards and I brought them and put them in my luggage, didn't open them. And so on my birthday, on November 4th, I had been in Australia for 3 days maybe at that point, and I was boarding the ship. And so I sat on the ship and I read all the birthday cards on my birthday while the ship was setting out to sail. And so how did I feel? Like, I felt just this level of gratitude that was, because I didn't get here by chance, like by fluke. I got here and not even all anchored in my own doing by any means. I got here because other people have lifted me up over the years, yourself included, Lana included, Linda, Tracy, Carol, Shannon, right? Like all these folks, like Tina, like people have literally lifted me up. And that's how I got to 50. I got to 50 because people have been there for me. And the nice thing about it is that, because a lot of people weren't at different parts of my life, right? But then people were. And just like I have not been there for people at times because I was so unwell. And now I'm able to be there, right? And the opportunity of that is mind-blowing, where I get to be able to spend yesterday, for example. I was invited to host the Indigenous Languages Day celebration, which had been a little bit date changed because of an ice storm, right? But there's little Everett, there's my grandson, and he spent the whole day there yesterday. And
oh no, we lost Peter.
hello.
I
hit the wrong button.
You spent the whole day there yesterday?
Yeah, he was there all day. This is the face of what happens when you don't win your little raffles, like over and over. He was like despondent. I don't know if JJ's watching, but he is. There's a little bit of JJ in there, like that negative vibe of I'm not winning, right? Like, but he did win in the
competitiveness. That's funny.
Mm-hmm. So so those things, right? Like those things lift me up, and so that's how I turned 50, was all these people lifting me up over time. So yeah, and it was so awesome, Tracy. And Tracy, I don't know if I assume you're talking about yesterday, but it could have been my birthday as well. She was at both, so yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. But that's really in the end why we took such a long hiatus. Is the thought in my head was that we were going to come back in December, and we couldn't make that happen. But it's not like we weren't doing stuff, right? Like, so we've done.
Yeah, we were in Ottawa in December.
We were. And in fact, why don't we share a little video here? Because one of the things that happened, we were in Ottawa. Like, actually, here, this was exactly what my spirit needed.
It was an awesome December. It was a great crowd.
This was our team here. You see our friends there. There's Tash and Simonik and Wata and Ayana and Kwana and Andrew. And there is Mr. Gugu right there. And of course, Grandma Kate. And the best helper is Santa, right? Santa was there.
That Santa was awesome, man. I've never met Santa so into their role in my life. He was yeah.
And so we all came together to work with our friends up in Saskatchewan, from Saskatchewan First Nation. And you know, I am reminded of the privilege we have to do this kind of work because we see changes fundamentally happening. We see changes in young people's lives in the moment. And so quite often we have these gatherings in Ottawa, these youth development and leadership and healing gatherings. And when we have young people come, quite often they'll be like shy. And some of them are really chronically shy, like in a real sort of health concerning way where it's like no talking, cover face, like so uncomfortable in that space. And then we see the shifts occur in 5 days. So I want to share this video, if that's all right with you, just that came out of that event. And the event was part of our I'm Indigenous stream of events, right? Where we focus on building young people's pride in their identity and their culture and who they are. So we're going to have to share that short video, and it's in the young people's voices around why they're so deadly, like why they're deadly as Crees. Does that sound all right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Here you
Yeah,
go.
My name is Dorothea and I am from Cassetron First Nation.
Hi, my name is Nikita.
My name is Linnea.
Hi, my name is Sloan.
I'm Nada. I'm from Cassetron.
My name is Tada.
My name is Haven.
My name is Darius. I'm from Kashatsu and I'm Cree.
I'm Claudia. I'm from Cash.
I am Tiara.
I'm Kyron.
My name is Shanae. My name is Priscilla Wesley.
I'm Rayanne.
I'm Deadly.
What's up? I'm Deadly. I'm Deadly.
Deadly.
I'm Deadly.
I am deadly because I'm brave. I have the courage to speak in public places, even if I'm shy. So to me, I think that's pretty deadly.
I'm Korean Deadly because I have a huge family tree.
I'm deadly because I am a proud sister. I'm Korean. I'm deadly because I push myself into doing some speaking, and that takes a lot of courage to do.
I'm Korean. I'm Deadly because I can do anything, like be with nature whenever I can and speak my language.
I am a Deadly uncle. Yeah, I like to drive around. And I want to drive around in deep mud puddles and get stuck for the funny.
I'm Korean Deadly because I just am.
I'm Deadly because I care about my friends and family.
I'm Korean Proud because it reflects my heritage and identity, showing the world on who I am.
I am deadly because I never give up. I play hard and I always give everything I've got.
I am Korean Deadly because I got family from Fordami and Cash and cousins from Nunavut, Iqaluit.
I'm Korean Deadly because I like to draw.
I'm Korean Deadly because I've survived in a house of 12 with only 5 rooms.
I'm a Deadly auntie because I like driving fast and drifting. I'm a Deadly uncle.
So good.
I painted a snowman because I searched up easy paintings, but I chose it because it reminded me of my childhood in Moose Factory with my family growing up before I moved to Cash when I was around, I think, 8 years old. And when I painted it, I felt so grateful and thankful for having such a loving family growing up.
I chose to paint this because it was my favorite view from Cassetron on the dike. It was very calm in nature. What it means to me, it's very important to our community to connect with nature.
I chose to do this painting because it's meaningful to me, and it's 3 campsites I grew up going to, which I get to spend time with my family and friends when I go camp and hunt. And right here says my name, Linnea.
What minds mean to me is that the medicine wheel is important to our culture, well, because it's like something spiritual.
I made this painting because I like enjoying nature.
And this is my Deadly snowman I made with the J's like mines.
This is the backyard of my house. And these are the northern lights.
They
look so cool when they're dancing in this.
This is my camping site. This is where I had a lot of memories of my family and friends. I've been camping here for at least 8 to 10 years, my guess is.
Okay, I'm Claudia. I made this painting, and seeing the sunset to me means enjoying the view.
I wrote my name because my green name connects me to my roots and ancestors, carrying the strength and wisdom of my culture. It's a reflection of who I am and where I come from, inspiring me to live with pride and respect and honor.
This is my painting. I chose this because I thought about our indigenous people.
This is my painting. I paint it means a lot to me because it represents a time in my life where I felt at peace.
This is my painting. It's very meaningful to me because it represents a big part of my life. It was when I realized what I was meant to do on this land.
This is my painting I took from my hometown, Saskatchewan, Ontario. Drift Queen.
Queen.
And just be like, Drift Queen.
What? Drift. Wait.
Like,
Drift Queen.
Drift Queen.
Drift.
Just be like Drift Queen.
Yeah, Drift
Queen.
Queen. Even come into it and just be like, Drift Queen.
Drift Queen. Drift Queen. I can't pronounce queen.
Kind of awesome, eh?
Yeah, that was sweet.
Well, not
I
awesome.
forgot about those videos.
So before we talk about how awesome those young people are, and Jaylene's right, like just how deadly that stuff was, and we will quick shout out there. I see Corey joined us as well. I think Corey and Lana will be back on the battle for top fans. Oh, look, there's Shannon there, deadly indeed. But before we talk about how amazing the young people were, I think it's also it is so important to recognize like Natasha and Andrew with those young folks in that moment, right?
Well, they were doing a great job.
Yeah, like just absolutely delightful. And Mello, it's so good to be back. It is I don't know what I'm doing here. There you go. It is wonderful to see you on Sunday night joining us as well. But those young people, like to be able to do work where you see from here. I don't like how our cameras. 1 second, let's see. There we go. So where you get to see from here to here, right? Like, who else gets to do that? Like, how awesome is that? Like,
and like I said earlier, like this kind of work normally, like you don't see things happen until like down the road. But like, I think that like that's why Three Things is such an anomaly to me. It's like, all these little things inside in the work that you're able to facilitate and the team is like, it's just very unique, right? Like it's like you said, we get to have these changes in such a short amount of time, and it's just crazy. It's such an extreme. It's just it's really a testament to the youth too, right? Like
it is
the fact that they already had the courage in them and stuff to overcome that amount of like barrier, whether it's socially or trauma or whatever. Like it's a lot, man. And yeah, it's so cool.
It is. And I want to give a shout out to the adults in Cache, like health services particularly. I'm sure folks know, but across the country, there's been a change to Jordan's principle and the funding around that. And in Saskatchewan, as an example, 1,000 young people have benefited from this program called Choose Life, which is funded by Jordan's Principle. And they've gone on a pause now on April 1st. So those programs and supports, so many of them are not available anymore. And it is, it's overwhelming. And I can't imagine how the staff are up there and I'm watching, and they're continuing to do their very best to support these young people, right? Because at the end of the day, if we can create these spaces where young people can see the great value they have as First Nations young people or Métis young people or Inuit young people and Black or newcomer. It doesn't even matter, that identity, right? If they can find places to lift up their identity and their pride in who they are and where they come from, that is the path for them to find success. And success doesn't always have to be a PhD. Success sometimes is living a life where you're happy and you're being of service and you're being helpful and you are loved and you love others. And that's what we see in those young people, right? So a shout out to that whole team that's working up there, Teresa and Trent and Chris and all the others who are supporting young people, not just in Cache, but communities across the country who have been devastated, I think, by the shift in that funding. And there's 1,000, that's a whole nother show and a whole nother conversation. And in fairness, we've certainly experienced it, like an outcome of it, right? Because it's, we have not had the opportunities to secure any of the sort of work that we do this year. We had two and we sort of lost them a little bit for now, but they may come back. But it is and I won't pretend that it's not stressful for us because we are a business, right? Like this is what we do for a living, and it's been impactful. And it's funny because like we were talking about the physical health stuff I was dealing with last year, but anchored in that treatment process this year, the next challenge was how it affected my mental health and how these things have affected my mental health. And Mello, thank you to let Mello comment on my shirt, which is my Celebrate Recovery shirt. And in 2 weeks, God willing, I'll celebrate another year around the sun of drug and alcohol free. Thank you. 15 years in a row.
It's amazing, bro.
Nothing, and although a lot of caffeine. but that said, the reality is that over those last 15 years, and really the last 18 years since I came into recovery, the capacity I have now to process those challenges around my mental health, like there were a couple of days over the last few weeks that were really difficult, and I won't pretend that they weren't. They were like, because when so much of my life is attached to what I do, has been for years, when I'm not successful in doing what I do, I then like ideas of being a failure, and I like the concept of I'm a failure. Like I anchored one whole day in that. Like I'm failing others, I'm failing this, I'm failing that. Like I'm fail. And I thankfully though had the tools to work myself through that, right? Recognize that I and we are not failures. There are all these external things that have occurred, and I've managed them as best as I can. But it has been a long, say, month or so of really having to work actively at taking care of my well-being, right? Because it could be so easy to slip into what happened probably the last time in maybe like 2014, maybe, where I watched, no lie, 4 months of Law and Order. And that's what I did. The depression was so overwhelming that all I could do was get up and make you get to the couch and watch Law and Order. And thankfully, there are like Law and Order UK, Law and Order this, Law and Order that.
Oh, there's a million of them.
And I watched them all. And Tracy here, she was really helpful at that point in my life. She would come, and because I would have to do work at some points, right? Like I just had to, but I couldn't. So she would sit with me, right, with these big flip charts, and I would just sit and I would work. And the beauty is that now I have the tools that when I saw that occurring, the very first thing I did was reach out to my therapist, right? And he helped identify. He said, you're having an anxiety episode, a severe anxiety episode. And he said, you've got to figure out if you're going to work through it or not. That was his, like, you're either going to respond to it or you're going to do nothing. And so that was super helpful. And I just worked through it, right? I keep working each day. Like each day I just work through it, and it's challenging, but it won't be challenging forever. And that's the reality. Like, for as challenging as it is, I'm still filled with hope and faith. Like something is going to come together, and we'll be back on track. And I can tell you, Simon has been a lifesaver. Pardon me?
I said the goat.
Yeah, he is the goat. And like on a couple of the days I've had to go to bed, like I've needed to take the afternoon and go to get some rest. And he just powers through it, right? And he's caring and he's compassionate, and he has been very helpful in this process. So yeah. And I see that Mance has joined us. Thank you, Linda, by the way. And thank you, Shannon, for the comments as well.
Why?
It's great to see Mance, because we are still doing lots of good stuff. Like December was amazing, right? And we're doing a really cool project. Jaylene was here, Jaylene Dakota.
Tracy says lots of late nights, Elton John and caffeine in 2014 and donuts.
And lots of donuts. Oh my God. Yeah. So we're doing a cool project that Mance is part of, and a whole number of folks are. This art project that we're doing, Indigenous Spaces and Places. And if you actually check out our website, there are Indigenous art pieces available for sale on our website right now. 3 things doesn't take a cut of anything. We just match you with the artist that you might be interested in. And they are the remaining pieces that came out of this art project that are now for sale publicly. And there's an auction for a stunning piece as well. So that Jaylene and Dakota did. So I would encourage folks to visit our website. But I also do just want to also acknowledge too that when I talk about mental health and stuff, it is about accessing supports and stuff, right? So it is important just to recognize that it is important to recognize that if people are struggling, you don't have to struggle all by yourself. And now actually there is this 24-hour support throughout the whole country, right? And then as well in Nova Scotia, particularly, there is this line here. So be sure that if you're struggling, we don't have to do this by ourselves.
And reaching out is it takes strength to do that, to reach out and to get help for yourself, and to recognize that that's you already have strength in that, right? So these things are really, really important, and it's just yeah.
Well, and it's funny, right? Because we want to. My brain, I can't say we. My brain wants me to struggle. That's what addiction and that's what mental illness does for me, right? Those things make me want to struggle, and it will do what it needs to do to make me experience things that are not as they are, so that I will struggle. So I'll stay alone and isolated, right? And throughout the last few weeks, every time I've been struggling, I have reached out to folks, and I pick up that phone and I just talk, right? It is just talk. It is, and it's so funny because we think sometimes that it's complicated, and it's not. It's just saying, man, this is how I'm feeling. And isn't that insane? It's that simple.
Yeah, it seems, like you said, it seems so complicated. It's like it's like being inside a really, really well built cement building with a really strong window, and you look outside and there's a tornado in front of the building, and you're like, oh my God, I'm in this tornado, but you're safe. You know what I mean? But you're oh my God, I'm in this tornado, but it's you're good, you're safe. You just gotta take a look around, take a breath, recognize that, and and in that building there's help, there's support, there's people there, there's maybe they're not in your circle, but they're outside of it, and they're there. There's resources there for us to help ourselves. And, it's just it seemed like we make it this chaotic thing. And well, we like, don't steal from you, you know, my brain, but yeah, like it's so easy to convince ourselves that people are going to judge us, or like, oh, this stranger that I've never met in my life is going to think I'm stupid and silly for picking up this phone and dialing 988 and saying, oh, I don't feel well, I need help, you know, or like this doctor is gonna, who is paid very good money to be professional and likely doesn't, you know, frankly care about me anyway, is like gonna judge me for this, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like it's so easy to convince ourselves of things, and once you take that little tiny step forward, it just gets easier.
Yeah, and I love that analogy. That is a great analogy. I actually, just on a lighter moment, I need to know, is Boopy your nickname from your
Yeah, that's what my grandparents called me when I was a little baby. Yeah.
Okay, raise your hand if you think we should now start calling Brennan Boopy.
No.
And it is, and Carol says it takes integrity and courage and caring to share your story, but it's also just about healing, right? Like even today, I already feel lighter. I did not, I said earlier I was a little anxious today. Like, I mean, I wasn't even anxious. I was just thoughtful of the fact that I was going to talk about cancer today and talk about that diagnosis and this journey that I'm on. And at the end of the day, though, it is, it's just actually about making things lighter, right? It is, it's just about making it lighter. So, and Linda is on board with Boopy, by the way. It looks like she's raised her hand. So, Brad, what have you been up to? You have a new background.
Oh yeah, this is my parents' basement. So I've been crashing at my parents for a little bit. Yeah, what was it? We had a little break there, and then went to Ottawa, December. That was really awesome. And then I had a really awesome opportunity to go to the I can't remember what it's called now. Big Indigenous philanthropy conference in Kenya. So I got the opportunity to go back to Kenya for a week, and that was so amazing. Oh, you can still hear me? Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to go to Kenya. Me and because I work with my dad, we got to both go up. There's supposed to be a few other team members, but things just didn't work out, and so we got to go down there and just present about all the work that we've been doing with the foundation and the LV MasterCard, and just go present. Yeah, we got to go down there, and they gave us the opportunity to do a panel. There was people from all over, like just some of the smartest, brightest, coolest Indigenous and allies, like just doing really cool stuff, like just people who really care about their communities and are doing it on like a national or international scale. And yeah, like it was just so cool to be around all those people and that amount, that energy, and that yeah, it was crazy. It was so cool. And we got a lot of really good feedback on our presentation, talking about the foundation and the work we did. I spoke a lot about the Atlantic tour and the Ottawa project and different projects we did just in the Atlantic here. And yeah, it was insane. It was so cool to also I got to go to a little walking safari. So there's this Lake Naivasha is where we were in Kenya, and it's like an hour and a half from Nairobi. And there's this little island in that lake where there's like a bunch of safari animals, like not predators, but I guess they made like an old romance movie back in like the 60s or something, whenever, and they shipped a bunch of animals there to shoot this movie on this little island, little tiny island. And and then they just when they were done making the movie, they just left the animals there, just left them there, and so now there's like a little ranger station there, and they just kind of help probably just make sure no one's going there and poaching and stuff. And they do little walk-in tours, so it was cool. We got to like go see giraffes, and you just take a little boat up there, and there's hippos and stuff, and all kinds of animals, and it was so cool.
I don't know if folks are seeing this. I'm just showing pictures out there.
Oh no, I don't think there's anything on the screen.
No, it's not working. So we still have a shared screen then. That's amazing, pal. That's there's lots of amazing parts of that story, and one of them is the idea of you and your dad together being able to do that is absolutely like.
It was really full circle, man, because like, you know, like I grew up like when I was like, I don't know, I was a baby when my dad started working for Oneweg, right? And it was a little office in town with like 10, 15 people probably working for it at the time. And I would, you know, leave school, go there, hang out in his office and just chill with him in meetings and stuff all day until just next day do it all over again. So like I grew up just like literally in that office and like in those meetings and stuff. And even like when I first started working with the foundation, like I never it was never my intention, right? So it was just really cool to go from there, be a part of that journey, and then be like in Kenya presenting on behalf of all that.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? It was pretty surreal. Sorry to cut you off, but it was just it was super surreal. It was crazy.
No.
Really grateful. Really, really lucky to have that experience.
That's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. The and so as we come into what are we now? We're in April, so we're still springish, right? And pardon me?
I said waiting for it. We keep getting snow out of nowhere.
Is there snow there today?
Not today. No, there was a couple days ago though.
Yeah, here too.
But I got my winter tires off, and then like 2 days later we had a snowstorm. Oh, man.
Yeah, it was the snow here. I think the last time it snowed, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone who's in Kingston here, about 3 days ago maybe or something. And it was like it wasn't sticking, but it was still there. And so I am done. This winter, I don't know about anyone else, but this winter has felt like the longest winter of all time. Like
I agree 100%.
I am so over it. Like I just want to start using like aerosol hairspray and spray all of it to try to like knock out that ozone layer so it can get a little bit warmer. Like I just might be done. I am it felt like a long, hard winter.
Yeah, it definitely was. Oh, and as for the background, sorry, I didn't even answer that. That's why I was talking in the first place. So yeah, that was Kenya was like end of February, and then I got home, and then the apartment flooded. So, Caitlin's house basement flooded. All the snow the snow like melted, and when I guess the band built the house, whoever was building it messed up the drainage, and also messed up the foundation. So I guess over time it just got worse and worse, and then that happened. All the snow melted, and there was a bunch of rain, and then just it went into the foundation. It was coming up from the foundation and like all around the walls and stuff, and so the whole basement just flooded.
It looked it looked like you were running a hose down there. Like it was
just nonstop, man. It was crazy. Like I got my dad to help me out, and like we were just with the shop vac. We had 2 shop vacs going, and we were just pumping water out literally. Well, because it started like 11 o'clock in the morning, and then it was still like 11 at night. We were going until we finally got it like slowed down.
Okay, so people are going to be this is an important question. People are going to be very interested.
Yes.
Did all of your collectibles survive?
Yes. Yeah, everything. It was just good time, and I was lucky. That's funny. You asked. A lot of my friends asked the same thing. Like, oh my god, what about your collection?
Yes, I would be
Your investments.
It would be a sin for like Luke Skywalker to drown. Like,
oh, I would have been gutted. I would have been gutted.
All right, so that's all that was.
See, I'm weary of basements anyway, so I had everything kind of rised up already. So even like my PC's on like little wheels, so like my computer was good. The only thing was like the cords that were in the water, and then like my bed and dresser and stuff, and
just my bed.
It started happening as I was working, so like I turned around and I thought my dog peed because there was just a big puddle there, and I was like, what the heck? And then I like put some paper towel down, and I like went because I was on a call, went back to the call, came back like 5 minutes later, and it was like it's the same puddle. I was like, what the heck? And then I was like, oh no, we're flooding.
Oh,
and it
good.
just happened so quick. And so it's like I'm glad it didn't happen while I was sleeping, because I would have just woke up and it would have been a bunch of water everywhere. And
yeah,
it would have sucked. So
Shannon has hit the nail right on the head about what Shannon. Inspiring and impressive young man. She's using the word young generously, but she's I get the point she's making.
I'm pushing 30 here.
I know you are. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. So, and it sucks, man, because like I don't understand how people like are not homeless who have dogs that are bigger than 25 pounds. Because I've looked like everywhere in the Colchester region, and like everywhere denies me because my dog is too big.
Really?
Yeah.
Your dog is a lot.
This good. Oh no, your dog, that dog's too big for our building. This dog's too big for our rental. Like, you'll have to get that'll only work in a duplex when you're on your own. Like, it's like every single company I've reached out to, every single renter, everything. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It is. But
so I'm gonna have to like try to get a mortgage or something.
Or
take the L on a crazy rate.
Put him on a diet.
Yeah, he's 80 pounds now, so I mean, he's gonna have to shave a lot of weight.
Well, I think if you
cut a couple weight classes there.
The
Chihuahua diet.
But I think, isn't there also a challenge? There's a real serious challenge in Nova Scotia around like a very weak landlord-tenant act, right? Like,
yeah, it's horrible. Landlords can do whatever they want. It's
like it's like following that over the last year or two, and it's really mind-blowing to me what is allowable there when it's like renting.
It's like borderline illegal, the stuff that people get away with here, especially in Halifax, man. It should be illegal. It's crazy.
Well, and it's mind-blowing, like rent increases that went up 4 times. Like
the places I was renting in Halifax when I was living there back in like 2016, 2018, were like I was paying a pretty penny back then for like nice spots. But like you go back to those same spots now, they're like 4 times the price.
Yeah, like
it's like you think you're getting like a top floor condo in a brand new building, but it's just a renovated little apartment with a fresh coat of paint, new doors, and new appliances. Like same old problems, you know. And like it's just, and there's still rats there. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is insanity.
Everything is so expensive. Yeah.
And Linda just shares, and it's not fair renters to allow large dogs, but will allow multiple cats. No offense to cat owners, but yeah, I think
I agree.
If you're allowed to have a cat, then there's probably a problem in the world.
Yeah. I have a good dog. He's trained. He's disciplined. What difference does he make versus a cat or like a little Chihuahua?
Anything, because you still provide a damage deposit one way or the other.
Yeah.
Like last month's rent or a damage deposit, whatever it's called, and it's like, Oh, look at this! I now know what's happening here.
My mom's telling them to deny me.
Yes, your mom is
reaching out to them
and being like, I just thought I'd let you know that my son's a good boy, but he doesn't normally shower, and so there's like a little stench that comes from his apartment. So just so you know, that'll be the case.
Yeah.
Have a good
He's
day.
always late on rent.
Oh, I think Corey got a little offended by the
Oh.
cat.
Yeah,
Cats are great.
They are great.
They are great with
They
salt,
just
pepper, and
stink.
ketchup.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really frustrating. I found a place in Halifax that I'm gonna reach out to,
Yeah.
like actual housing.
Yeah.
So it's not like rental or anything. So I don't know. Hopefully,
You're in urban
I
land.
got a couple leads on stuff.
Raise your hand if you think that Brennan should move to Kingston. Raise your hand.
Well, this is the crazy thing, man. I'm at the point where I'm like, I feel like I have to move away because there's no places I can rent. Like,
well, I'll tell you though, the rent here has exploded as well because
and it's not even cheap here anyway. Like, the cheapest place I found in Truro for pet friendly was like $13.50.
Okay, so
just
to be clear, $13.50 is about half of anything here in this city.
Yeah, I believe it.
Like,
I'm just saying, this is Truro.
Yeah, so
this place sucks.
So when we moved here,
and then Nova Scotia Power is like, oh my god, they're the mafia. They charge you $1,200 and you only got a lamp on. Crazy. Yeah, Nova Scotia's cooked, man. I need it here.
Well, moving to this house, when I say doubled my expenses, completely 100% more expensive to live where
too, eh?
And half the size.
That's crazy.
And I can hear my neighbors talk, and they're nice, and I'm sure whatever, right? But I can hear them. So I'm not lost that the house.
They can hear you.
Yeah, they can hear me. The house of dysfunction on the highway was wonderful, and it was an anomaly. My friend, I'm very happy for my friend Adam, whose vision was to build this building, right? And in fairness, in the housing crisis we have, there were 2 of us living there on 4 acres. And now there will be 48 people living there.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I was never upset about it. I always knew going in it was going to be the plan. So it was what it was. And I knew the rent was really just about a token, if you will. But to live where I'm living and to pay 100% more for everything is mind-blowing to me. Like, it is absolutely.
You're not even far from where you were living.
Pardon me?
You're just down the street.
No. I'm in a nicer neighborhood without a doubt.
Oh, okay.
It does have students. I got students around me, so it's and they're not horrible. I did have to explain to the one student next door that it was weird that she was riding her bicycle diagonally across my lawn. And I'm like, and when I said to her, I'm like, can you not? Yeah, like an old man, actually, like with my shaking fist. And I was like, can you not ride your bike across my lawn? And she looked at me like I was suggesting it was weird to ask that. And she was like, okay, and walked away. But it is interesting. Which brings us to the fact that there's an election ongoing right now, right? And in 15 days. So I do want to ask you a question. I'm mindful of time. It's we've been hanging around for an hour now. So this is the big question, and we don't have to answer it today, but this certainly, I feel so good right now. I've loved the fact that we've had so many people join us tonight and pop in, and we don't know yet what the plan is for Come Walk With Us. I think that there is certainly interest from folks watching at home. So there's I think a couple of options, and I thought we could start the conversation here. It doesn't mean that it has to end tonight, but the question is that do we want to try to come back to doing this on Sunday nights? Do we what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. Thursdays seem to be good. It just seems easier to do the weekdays because then you can tie it into everything.
Yeah.
But then you got to work the next day. I don't like staying up late and stuff.
Yeah.
But
well, that's Sunday too, right? So it's funny.
Yeah,
so I'm
Sunday's
having.
the same thing.
I
Yeah,
did want to
Sunday's-
talk. I did want to talk one point about these new flavors of soda. So that's going to go on our list for either next week or whenever we get, because these new soda flavors are a little bit. They're a little bit sus. We need to have a conversation.
But then, yeah, it's just nice having weekends to like go do something.
Yeah.
And just knowing you have a weekend, you don't have to like plan, try to get. You know what I mean?
What are your Wednesdays like? Wednesday nights?
Wednesdays are usually good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for my practice schedule for lacrosse. So,
Yeah. When do you think that'll come out?
Probably like this week. We did evaluations on the weekend, so they'll probably get
do we want to try to maybe come back next? Oh, Paul is saying hello from Cuba.
Cuba.
I think it's hola. Hola, Paul. Hola. Do we want to try to come back next Sunday?
Easter Sunday?
Oh, is it Easter Sunday? See, this is the problem. Yeah.
Easter Sunday?
Well, then at least the Monday is the holiday, right?
20th. 20th is Easter. That's the Sunday after. Or today. Yeah, that's next Sunday. Today's 13th.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be a holiday Monday.
Yeah. Well, if we did it on the Sunday night at because that'd be 8:00 your time, right?
Yeah.
Would all of the Easter stuff be done in your world by then? Do you think?
Should be, yeah.
Yeah. And I can make mine done as well. So what if we were to reconnect next Sunday? We'll take a look at calendars and stuff and have a better idea going forward of because the other option too. So Sean actually had a really good idea, which is maybe doing it maybe once a month instead of once a week. I think there's a lot of options out there. I know that I know the feeling I'm having right now is really good, and I want to have it more.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's that. But why don't we plan for next Sunday? You know who I was thinking we might see if they could join us is Wyatt.
Oh man, he's been killing it.
Yeah, and I thought we had Wyatt and we could talk about the election.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Does that
he's co-hosting his own little show there, a nice little studio and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why don't we see if he's available next Sunday, and we'll meet. We'll visit. We'll hang out for a little bit, and just regardless. But I will reach out to Wyatt and see if he can join us, and we go from there. Does that make sense?
Sounds good.
Brennan, this literally was exactly what my spirit needed as I enter into another week of slogging through and throwing a bunch of stuff on the against the wall to see what's going to stick. And next week we'll talk politics and elections, and Indigenous voting, whether that's where people the various takes on that. Does that make sense?
Sounds good to me. Can't wait.
Cool beans. I am very, very grateful for tonight. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Gugu. This is absolutely delightful. Linda said while mowing down on chocolate. And Shannon, it's what our spirits needed, without a doubt, actually. Yeah, I would agree, Shannon. I think that's exactly what was needed. And yeah, we will go from there. And over the next couple of weeks, we'll have a better plan of what this can look like in the long term. And yeah.
Always
any
thanks
final
everyone
thought?
for tuning in. No, just thanks everyone for tuning in. Always appreciate everyone stopping by and all the positivity. And it's good to have our community back. It's good.
It is. And it has been wonderful, Lana. Thank you very much. And And Corey signed me up. And you're so right. I don't know what I'm right about, or for Brennan, maybe you were right, but either one, I'll take us being right.
Yeah. Corey, you got to be earlier next week. Keep that first fan badge.
Yeah, first fan. Okay, my friends, it is the last thing I'll just share is just be mindful again, like we talked about earlier. If you're struggling in any way, pick up that phone and reach out. And if you can't do that, just be mindful that you're not all alone. That the people who care about you think about you, and as a rule, send good thoughts. I do want to give a shout out and acknowledgement tonight, as the fire is just the sacred fire here in town is just closing right now. At sunset, they close the sacred fire, and that fire, again, as you may recall, our dear friend Kimmy D and Grandma Kate and Tracy and Linda and Sheldon and all these others who helped start that movement in 2021, so 4 years ago, and that fire is still being lit to honor and recognize the children who have been recovered and are continuing to be recovered, and all the families and nations and survivors. So that fire was that sacred fire was this weekend, and so I just want to acknowledge and lift my hands up to those folks who are out there now. And 4 years in, often it might be one or two people there, right? So it's a lot of undertaking for a small group of people, and how grateful I am that they're there. As they close that sacred fire tonight, we maybe just keep them in our thoughts and minds, and all of those people across the country who are doing that important work of healing, and whether it's individually, whether it's within their families, whether it's in their communities. Awesome. We can celebrate recovery, we can celebrate healing, and we can celebrate come walk with us.
Sounds good. Well, this everyone. See you guys next week.
Mama P.